Hey there, happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's been a long week already and I'm having a hard time remembering what day of the week it is. So I just thought I would come on, show you a couple of works in progress. And I wanted to show a little bit of difference in some of the hides and see if maybe you can tell. So first things first, we'll start with some of the hides. This is goat. It already has a totally different sound than what a rattle hide would. It's almost like a thunk, thunk, thunk. It's very thin. I mean, this is like potato chip thin. I love the way this is processed, but it's a little bit easier to process the goat hide because it is a little bit easier to work with. With this being so rubbery, this is why 90% of the drums that you get that are natural hides are goat, because it is so much stretchier. Deer hide is not this stretchy, not this rubbery, and the timbre is a little bit different. So I got these pieces I'm getting ready to go soak because I have a couple of rattles to get out this week. It even sounds like I know it's already like making music to me when I'm playing with it. This is cowhide. You can tell the marked difference in thickness. I mean, this is majorly different. So different. Already, so goat hide, we heard that sound. This is a little bit higher pitched, but it's also a little deader sounding. And this has already been soaking in water because I forgot that I have a rattle due in 2 days and I don't like the hide that I had drying, so it's like back to the drawing board. This is not going to sound like this once I get done. This is deer hide actually. But even in the thickness, it like ranges. And most of the time people say, well, it's just the way it's been processed. But I've always seen really thick cow hides. And it's just a matter of if you get lucky enough to where they're not so bad. This is going to soak up the water and it's going to make it really difficult to get the needle through. But once you get the needle through, it's a lot easier. The rattle seems to go together a lot quicker. The deer hide, it's a little more, even when it's not even that wet, it's a little more translucent. I like working with deer hide more. And this one here, it's completely and totally opaque. I mean, of course, like the cowhide, you're not seeing through that at all. But this is just, there's no hope of even seeing me through this one. So those are some works in progress right now. I have been scouring and having a ton of antler sheds given to me. And when I'm ready to start working on those rattles, those will be going up on my Etsy, but this is one of them that's partially put together. The hide looks black. It's actually a navy blue color. It has, of course, what I always put in mine is a mix of black-eyed peas, corn, and rice. Black-eyed peas for prosperity. You got the rice for bringing in some money and prosperity, and you got the corn for abundance. So while you're doing the work with this, not only are you shaking out the poverty, you're putting prosperity in the person. You're putting in that abundance. You're putting in those things that have been lost, that they have lost in the process of them needing to be healed. You're also putting that into yourself. So one of the reasons why when I'm doing these, I don't usually show when I'm putting them together, because there's a lot of different prayers that I use. There's different energies that I'm using when I put these together. But I'm loving all of these antlers that I've been getting because they are just picked up off the ground. So no deer were harmed in the gathering of this. They're things that I've just had given to me where like, hey, friends go walking in the woods. I have friends that go walking in the woods all the time and I can never seem to find antler sheds, but one of my friends is constantly finding them and she's like, oh, I found another antler for you. How? She's also really good at finding morels and she's really good at finding chicken of the woods. So yeah, my friend Sarah's amazing. This is another antler that was found. Another shed. They're all relatively small, so you can see this is like more of a baby, that when it's lost its horn. But even, I mean, the hide, everything is just, you never quite know what sound you're going to get. This is goat on this one. So it's a little bit different of a rattle to it. This one is deer. And I do have a cowhide one, but you're not going to be able to tell the difference because it's in, I did a shape of a crescent moon. I'll go grab that one. Excuse me, Kermit. Sorry, Allie Bear. Oh. Actually, I have two more to show you now. So I've been working on this crescent moon one. I still not really crazy about the way this came together. This one's just on a dowel because the hole is so small. The hole is so small. You want to be able to put this in here so that it's not detracting from the sound, and getting too big of a hole and too big of a stick in here means you already don't have a whole lot of surface area on this. This is very light workings, but making the crescent moon ones are my least favorite and my biggest pain in the ass at the same time that I'm working with. My family has a farm on 286 acres up in northern Michigan, and they find bones up there all the time. So I was able to get this bone. And this even, it's just so, it blows my mind sometimes the difference in sound depending on the hide of the rattle, how it was processed, how long it was soaked. If I've over soaked the hide sometimes, you're going to get a little bit of a different sound. So I'm experimenting with some hides that I've got going right now. I'm hoping to be able to start working on them within the next hour and then have them dry overnight and then assemble those rattles tomorrow. But yeah, I love the sound of the rattles. I love making the rattles. So this one's a little bit lighter of a royal blue. This guy wasn't soaked as long in the solution. This one was a little bit longer, so it turned a really dark navy blue. But yeah, these are some prototypes I will use when I start adding the antler sheds. I only have about 25 antler sheds to work with right now, so I don't want to pop those up and then people go crazy and then all of a sudden not be able to get more antler sheds or have to worry about how I'm going to get them. I collect sticks. I'm always collecting sticks. I love collecting sticks. And I have them stacked almost as a protective ward by my front door. And I have a like circular oscillating saw that I got from Harbor Freight. And before I got that oscillating saw, I was just doing the hand saw thing when I was sawing the wood, and that was a nightmare. So much more difficult. But I have really impressive sticks that I cut up tonight. I like the end of this one. All I'm going to do is sand this one down, and it's just going to go in like this. So this one's going to be a fun one. And just end up sanding it a little bit. This stick was gotten from a tree that had got struck by lightning. So as you can see, the char marks here. So no matter how much I sand this down, which I'm only going to sand it down a little bit, you're still going to get the char marks, and I'll be sure to tell the person the story, whoever gets this rattle. The stick will call and tell me whose this is going to go to. This is also part of that stick. This is just more of outside wear and tear on this part here, but this is another part of it. It's another end of it. See if you can get that. I love the curve and the imperfections in this stick. This is going to be beautiful. And then the oscillating saw from Harbor Freight just makes these beautiful cuts that smooths it out and sands it for me before I even have to. So the ends of these are something I don't normally have to worry about. This one here, this will end up going up inside the rattle, and then come down from here. So when I'm putting the rattles together, stick goes here, the stick goes all the way up to the top, because what I'm doing is I'm tying this end part around the stick, and I want to make sure it has a little bit of stability. So I've got to make sure that I leave just enough of a mouth and tie that around there, and then don't put too many whatever you're going to put in there. Some people use little itty bitty pea gravel, which is great, but I mean, agate is agate is agate, and agate all has fairly the same properties. I don't want to end up imbuing some of these with something that people don't need, and everyone always needs a little more prosperity. Everyone always needs a little more abundance in their life. They need a little more magic, a little more healing. And when you're using the rattles, you're healing those areas of people's lives too. So you're healing the areas of their life that they're not being very prosperous. You're healing the areas of their life where they need a little more abundance, where they need a little more good fortune. So rice is all about that good fortune too. I get a lot of complaints about the rice though, and I will tell you why. One of the problems I have with the rice is the rice likes to break down faster than the corn and faster than the black-eyed peas with the shaking. And it likes to escape through these little holes sometimes up here. And rice being rice and being as small as it is, this one here, oh, see, it's even coming out. It will leave a little bit of like dandruff almost. And there's a lot of people who complain about that. So what I sometimes have to do is take a little bit of the E6000 and I'll go just a tiny little itty bitty around on my fingers and just kind of go around and seal some of these holes, because I have had complaints because they don't seem to like the dandruff, which I can understand, but at the same time, you are raining down good fortune and prosperity on people. Why would you complain about that? I don't know, but people do. It's like, appreciate the gift the universe has given you. So you can see this is another, you can tell the difference between the hides. The goat likes to collapse on itself. You can notice that it doesn't like to hold its shape as much, and you have to get the threads kind of tight because the goat hide likes to stretch, where I don't have to stretch it as tightly with the deer hide. So that's why the deer is usually my go-to on here. So that's all I've got for this evening. Just kind of wanted to show you a couple of works in progress. And hopefully by now I can start working on one of those hides that I've got soaking. It's a pretty easy process to soak. Usually you just throw them in a bath of water and we go from there. Most of the time I will let them soak overnight. There are some times when the hides are thin enough that I can grab them out in a couple of hours, and that's always a beautiful thing. But it's a fairly uncomplicated thing. You just soak it and go do your thing for a couple hours, come back and start sewing. So that's where we're at. Hopefully by you listening to this, I've shaken some prosperity into your life, and I've shaken some good fortune and shaken some abundance, because we all need that during the holidays. Let's give you a little bit more. If you're going to use these, and you're going to use these on yourself, always start at the crown. And you're just going to shake all that out. You're going to work all the way around your head. And give yourself a little sound bath. Always try to get down your back and your spine too, because people like to be scandalous, like to be little hoes and send stuff to your back. They don't have the balls to send it to your face. So make sure you're sending that all the way down. Take it all the way down to the floor, let the earth ground it. If you have one of these and you want to do this outside, I mean, that's the best way. I mean, you can't really do it barefoot right now, but you can try. And then just send it all the way back down into the earth. And that way you're transmuting that, letting it come back up into something bigger, something better, something stronger, something that shows the best of all of us and gives the most of the best of us to people. Because you want to make sure that we are all coming out as our best selves right now. There's a lot of dark energy around, especially, you know, there's little things that we're noticing in the universe that are just a little amiss. So, hope you have a great evening. Thanks so much for watching. And let's shake some prosperity and some abundance and some good fortune into your life. How about that?